Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome back to another Cantina Corner Spring Training Breakdown. Today, we're doing the NL Central. But, before we get into that, we got a couple things we want to say. First of all, thank you guys for all the follows, everything. You guys have been killing it. We're almost at 300 followers on Facebook. Incredible. You guys keep liking, keep sharing. Helps us out massively. We teased a little bit in a Facebook post. We do want to confirm we are going to be giving away a copy of the show 2021. Fernando Tatis Jr. is donning the cover. Yeah. So how we're going to do that? Each social media platform that we're on that you guys follow, subscribe to, whatever. We have a Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and a Discord. If you join all those, you'll get 5 entries. If you follow Facebook and sub to the YouTube, you'll get 2. So if you do all 4, you're getting an extra one for a total of 5. Now, if you are on Facebook and you like this video, we're going to give you an entry. If you share this video, you're going to get an entry. If you do both, you're going to get 3. So we're giving you an extra bonus one there too.
All kinds of chances for entries in this. All kinds of chances.
So, I mean, if you follow us on Facebook, that's 1. You like and share the stream, you're up to 4. And then if you comment on this, either on YouTube or on Facebook, we're going to give you 2 more entries. So you can, off this video alone, you can win 10 entries to win a copy of MLB The Show 21. And we're gonna run this through what day did you say, Nick?
We're basically be running it the next including this week, 3 weeks after this, and then we'll be doing basically the drawing of who's gonna win this copy on March 31st, our podcast that night.
March 31st, and the game comes out in April, so you'll have the copy.
April 20th.
We'll have a digital copy for you the night of release, so we won't jip you in any way. So you can win 5 more entries. So say you do everything, you get your 10 entries this week. Next week you have a chance to earn 5 more. So you could have a total of 15, and so on and so on. 5 more after that, 5 more after that. I mean you could end up with some serious chances to win this.
The
show's always fun to play. Obviously, if you're watching this, you love baseball, so, and it's out for more than just PlayStation, I think, this year. I think this is the first year they're doing Xbox too, I think.
Are they?
I think so.
Okay.
So. So if you have an Xbox, I think you can play the show now. I think they changed that for this year. So yeah, do that.
Do it. I mean, you're saving yourself $60 at the least, getting that. Just all you got to do is really just like, share, follow us. It's that easy. It's
100%.
Minimal footwork, and you're saving $60. You're getting plenty of chances to get your name in there for entries to win this game. So
100%. I'll say this too. Next podcast, if somebody does something to earn all 10 entries, we will shout you out next podcast, because honestly, that'd be incredible. Secondly, me and Nick have already talked about throughout the season doing giveaways for stub packs and packs within the, what do they call it, My Player in the show,
stuff like that.
So we're gonna be doing giveaways throughout the whole baseball season with that. We might, if we get some interest, start an actual like little mini league within people who watch the podcast and me and Nick play, so we can all play together and shit. So
get together, just play some baseball, do what we love doing.
That's right. All right, with that being said, let's kick this off with one of the worst teams in baseball. One of the worst teams in baseball, but like me and Nick were talking before we started recording, one of the most exciting young players coming into the league with what he did last year. So obviously we are talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates in the NL Central. They are garbage.
Pretty much. Honestly, they haven't been a good, solid team since like Andrew McCutchen was there, and Garrett Cole was there. Like you're talking, I mean, it's a while ago now, but
it is a while ago. but they have a terrible front office. I mean, I'm just gonna call it like I see it. They have an absolutely
Honestly.
horrid front office. They traded Austin Meadows and Tyler Glass now for Chris Archer past his prime. I mean,
Yeah.
all Austin Meadows did was come as a finalist in MVP that year, and Glass now started off as a Cy Young candidate and then got injured.
That's all Austin Meadows did, dude. That's it.
Yeah, that's all he did. You know, I think it was like his third year in the league, second or third year in the league, and I mean,
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. There was a time too where like I thought they had something where like they were bringing up some good pitchers like Cole
yeah,
Glass now. I swear that they had another guy. I can't think of his name. I thought there was another dude, but like for a minute it seemed like with them and having McCutcheon, Starling Marte back when he was not blowing out a hammy every
yeah.
year, like
It was
and
Musgroves. That's who you're thinking of.
okay,
They
yeah,
traded
and it
him.
was like it's yeah. It seemed like they had something they could build on, and just like they were pumping out some good pitching. But man, their front office is really just kind of
Yeah, they had good pitching. They had I think one of the best outfields in baseball when they had McCutcheon, Marte, and Polanco before Polanco just fell off the cliff of the earth.
yeah.
And they had Josh Harrison's been one of our favorite players
Good.
for a while.
Oh yeah, that dude's. Who doesn't love Jay Hay?
Yeah,
Honestly.
and they blew up that team too early, in my opinion. But I mean, it's pretty obvious they don't like to spend money because their payroll is lower than Indians. So there's really nothing else to say about it.
Yeah.
But how do you pronounce this guy's first name? Keon Bryant? Is that correct?
I think it's Key Bryan. I think it's just Key Bryan.
Key Bryan.
Haynes.
That's pretty badass. Key Bryan Haynes. Dude can fucking rake.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's keep it a little more realistic though, because it was basically the last month he came up and really played, had some serious time.
Yeah,
but
he fucking raked.
He did rake. I mean, this kid does look like he could be a monster. He's really the only guy I'm excited to kind of watch and see how he goes this season on the Pirates. Other than that, there's really nobody else.
Yeah, he's your only legitimate person to pay attention to if you pay attention to fantasy baseball. I mean, Adam Frazier is like a solid utility guy to have in fantasy, just to have a guy. But I mean, Haynes is going to be all the talk in Pittsburgh.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah,
it'll probably be like 3 years before he's traded.
You know who else I will say is solid that I did like was Brian Reynolds. I know last year with the short season, he didn't really have a great season, but the dude was solid. I believe, if I remember, I don't remember really exactly, but I think 2 years ago was he a rookie and he was runner up in Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
I believe something like that. And but yeah, that he's another piece that could be exciting. But yeah, this Key Brian Hayes, he looks like he's going to be the star in Pittsburgh if he continues what he was doing.
Yeah, he could be a stud. I would say after this year, he's the face of that franchise for sure.
Yeah,
locks it in.
If he does lock it in this year, I would imagine they try and sign him, give him one of those, decent deal for the player, but a better deal for the ownership to kind of
a
keep
Jose
him as
Ramirez deal.
Franchise, build around him, kind of try and attract more talent in. He's definitely set up to be that kind of player.
Yep, I agree. I fully agree with that. All right. How many wins do you think this team gets? Do you think they get over 50? Because I don't see it.
I really don't either. I really don't.
I'll put him at like 47, 48. I don't see him getting to 50.
I had right around, honestly, I had about 50. Like, before, I know I was trying to do projections, whatnot, and thinking about it earlier, and my first initial one was 60 and 102. But then as I started looking over it again and everything, I'm just like, I don't know, because to even get to 60, I feel like they have to have some sort of rotation to bolster the measly offense they're going to have, and they really don't have that at all.
No,
so
they don't have anything.
I think it's almost going to be tough for them to crack 40 or 45 wins, honestly.
Yeah, they're going to be a team where I see Polanco getting traded, to a contender who just needs a solid outfielder to bolster their depth, and I don't see the team going anywhere.
I agree. They're honestly, like you said, they are one of the worst teams in baseball. They really are. They are. They're just gonna be,
But the rest of the division, honestly, is pretty competitive. I mean, I joked about it earlier. It seems like every year, any one of these 4 teams can win the division because it seems like none of them want to. I'm going to be really interested to see who you have at 2 because I have debated these 2 teams, and I'm gonna stick with my guns on this one. It's probably gonna seem a little out there, but who you got?
So I've been struggling with this too all day because I've been looking at how I had them ranked, and I think I had my first and my last place team locked in, the Pirates, and then I won't reveal first place. We'll go as we're
Yep.
going. Honestly, these next three, I kind of was honestly, see all three of them kind of finishing very close to each other. This was really tough. I still don't, I don't know. I still am not 100% on it. Because I honestly, right, like my last time I looked at it and was kind of jumbling things around, I had the Reds next, but their pitching staff, I think, is one of the better staffs in this division period.
Yep.
Where I don't think it's going to be them. I feel like it's going to be the Brewers or Cubs next. And between those two, I still had a tough time. Like between those two, I would almost. I'm
Well, who
I'm
you
walking
got?
right now, obviously.
Who you got?
I'll just go with the Brewers.
You go with
next.
the Brewers? All right, I got the Cubs.
All right.
This is our first disagreement. Not really a disagreement because I was literally debating between them and the Brewers. Those are my two that I could have had flip-flopped here. The reason I'm picking the Cubs to come in fourth is because they are already talking about trading Chris Bryant. If you take Chris Bryant out of this lineup, it is not as strong at all. I still love Rizzo. Obviously, anybody around me knows I've got a fucking soft spot for Javier Baez.
Javi's just, I mean,
I love Javier Baez.
So good. He's so good.
Jock Peterson, nice pickup. Not really. It's kind of a mute point with the Kyle Schwarber.
I think it was a better pickup. So one, they paid less for I think a better player. In that Schwarber signed what $10 million contract with who did he go to? Was it the Dodgers, right? Or no, sorry, Washington. Yeah, we just talked about him. Jock they signed for $7 million. I honestly think they got the better end of that deal because I think Jock is just a better athlete, definitely a better defender.
And I think defender, but that ain't hard to do, and he's not that great of a defender. If we're being honest, Jock couldn't hold center field in LA.
No, but he's just. I mean, they'll have somebody. Jason Hayward playing center for him. So I would imagine.
Maybe I don't know. That guy's old, dude.
He can
still play D. That's the only reason he's on the field.
Regardless, I think it was I think Jock's just a better player than Schwarber. Athletically, I think he's better.
They'll probably have Ian Happ in center. That's my guess.
What's that?
Ian Happ. They'll probably have Happ.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, but even still, I mean, Jock, I think he's just a better athlete overall. And I think I was looking at some stuff today, and I know obviously he really came in as like a platoon player against righties. He didn't really face much left-handed pitching, which it'll be interesting to see because they don't necessarily have the depth that the Dodgers had depth-wise.
Yeah.
So Jock could be playing a more everyday role. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops against left-handed pitching because he kind of was handicapped. Because when you're put in that platoon position, you kind of can't really develop that skill.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a knock against him, but it is something to watch and how he develops. But he mashes right-handed pitching. And I was looking today, and there's this he's one of the notable outfielders versus right-handed pitchers since 2015. Marcell Ozuna, Jock Peterson, and George Springer have been some of the top three. On base percentage, 337 for Ozuna, 348 for Jock, and 354 for Springer. The slugging is he outslugs right-handed pitching more than Ozuna and Springer. So like he's in some good company mashing right-handers, and it's just I think it really is going to be him playing every day and see how he fares against left-handed pitching. I think it's a solid signing. I like him better than Schwarber, but I'm a little biased. I've always been a Jock Peterson fan. Yeah. So
I can understand that. I just don't think it's that much of an upgrade.
No, I'm not saying that he's gonna come in and just destroy.
I think Schwarber's got more upside. I really do, and I hate saying that because Joe Buck, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
But I think Schwarber's way more upside, way more consistent bat when he's on. Schwarber has a very high tendency of getting off time and striking out a lot. Jock strikes out a lot regardless. He's one of those home run or fucking strikeout guys. But if you take Chris Bryant out of this lineup, if they end up trading him after this video, this team I mean, they'll have Hap, Rizzo, Bryant, and well, fucking, I almost said Castellanos, Contreras,
Contreras.
and that's about it. Those are the four guys I'd be not even afraid of. Rizzo and Baez, maybe I'm afraid to pitch to, but
Honestly, after that, you really don't have that kind of hitter where you are
there's
fearing him
nothing.
really. And I do feel the same. It's going to be interesting to watch Chris Bryant this year because that is, I mean, yeah, God, the last couple seasons his name's been floated around as
Yeah.
trade piece.
I hope
Like
he goes to the
this
Mets.
year, especially, like
I really
I could
hope he goes
definitely.
to the Mets. I do.
It would be even tougher to like the Mets, to not like the Mets if they get him because then it's like I'm already trending that way since they took Lindor and Carrasco from us.
I know.
So
I just think Chris Bryant in that Mets lineup defensively, I just think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Does it make sense for the Cubs to trade him there? Maybe not, because their farm system's kind of been ravaged with the deals they've made, but who knows? Chicago's going to be on the rebuild pretty soon. So I guess that'll lead us to who you have fourth, who I have third, the Brewers. Or do you have Cincy?
I have Cincy. Are we just gonna go through right now then with ours?
No, I'm just asking. And you had the Brewers third?
Oh yeah, I had the Brewers
Okay.
third. Yeah.
So yeah, I had the Brewers third as well.
Yeah, their team. I love their offense. I love it. It's good. It's got really solid pieces, but I think just their rotation's a little weak. I'm not really a fan of really anybody in particular. I feel like it's kind of a bunch of like just faceless, nameless people. Like just throw a guy out there. Their offense is really their that's really where they're showing up.
Yeah, 100%. Woodruff's not terrible. I don't think he's an ace, and unfortunately, he's their ace. But the backside of their pen is as dominant as it gets.
That's why too. Like, yeah, I had to put him. You had to put him third because even with the weak rotation, their offense is good enough where it can get them a lead in the games, and then once they turn it over to the pen, it's like
it's amazing.
Good luck scoring against that.
This team is built for the playoffs. They have a great offense and really good back end pitching. Starting pitching in the playoffs of recently hasn't really, I'm not going to say mattered, but it hasn't been as effective as the back end of the pen has been. I mean, we saw it really change with Tito using Andrew Miller in the 5th inning and going for 3 innings.
Yeah.
Might have killed his career, but he changed the way people pitch in the playoffs. I mean, we saw it in the World Series. Madden brought in John Lester to pitch 3 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, you see these guys going deeper and deeper. Chapman, he had him pitch back-to-back nights, 2 innings. I mean, they really start relying on these relievers late. I just don't know if their starting pitching is good enough to get them there. If they had a bona fide ace, I think they'd be competing for the top spot in this division.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something to look out for at the trade deadline is maybe them making a move for an ace who's, just another team that's trying to trade an ace.
I'm going to throw a name out there because the Brewers have a lot of young talent and some depth with their farm system of guys who are borderline ready to come up and a team who just ravaged their farm system. I would say don't be surprised if the Brewers at the trade deadline trade for Noah Syndergaard when he comes back. Send over some of their prospects to the Mets. They rebuild their farm system. They unload Syndergaard before he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
And the Brewers can maybe get a few good months out of Syndergaard. I mean, who knows? Syndergaard could be finally healthy again, and it'll be great for both teams.
He's supposed to be coming back, like I think we talked in the last one, right around the trade deadline.
Yeah.
If he were to come back and say they traded him, they could possibly get those couple months out of him because, I mean, the guy really does only pitch a couple months a year. It sucks because the guy's got a bunch of upside and just nasty stuff. I mean, we talked about it last podcast, but
yeah, I could see them bringing him off the DL and starting him off in the pen, throw an inning or two just to look good instead of starting him for like a 3-inning game.
Yeah,
look good, show your stuff, and we're gonna unload you. I could totally see that guy being the case because they got pitching without him. Mets have everything. So So yeah, I mean Christian Yelich, obviously you got to say his name. The dude, terrible year last year. I think COVID, he was one of the players that severely suffered from the no spring training. I think he's a fucking full routine guy, kind of like Corey Kluber.
Yeah.
Last year fucked him. I mean, he barely batted over 200, and his career average is like 301 or some shit like that.
It is, yeah. I know we've been fans since he was in Miami.
We were fans before anybody else. I just want to point that out. We may be in Cleveland, but we drafted Christian Yelich when he was he a rookie that year? I think he was a rookie.
No, it was like his second or third year. It was really early. It was right before he really took off.
Before he was anybody. And we drafted him in fantasy baseball, and he was like, I can't even tell you how much we've dominated this league.
That first year, yeah, it was.
Still haven't won a championship though.
Yeah, it helped. It was nice us two running that team because our baseball knowledge combined with it that year was like we were snagging dudes that like it was the perfect year to get some of these guys where they were going off. And yeah, Christian Yelich, I mean, like I said, we've been a fan since he was in Miami. So the he's a monster.
He's an absolute animal.
Yeah,
I mean, outside of Michael Brantley, he might have one of the smoothest swings in baseball. It's not that it's like you watch it and you're like Michael Brantley, you watch it, you're like, okay, that is a baseball swing. Yelich, you watch, and it is consistent every time. The guy puts the same swing on the ball every time, no matter where it's fucking thrown or anything. That is very difficult to do. Extremely difficult to do.
Hitting
comes
a
to the zone level.
To do.
Yeah, and especially he's so small. He hits bombs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm not going to take credit for it, but I'm going to say it. I called that when he went to the Brewers that his fucking home run totals were going to go up at 5 to 10 more homers a year because Miami's a huge fucking ballpark. And you're going to the Brewers where, I mean, it's almost like 60 fucking feet closer. They did something when he got traded that there was like 15 fly balls that he hit in Miami that would have been homers if he was playing at home with the Brewers. So, I mean, it was dead obvious to me. I mean, the guy makes such consistent contact that he's going to have those stats be sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. That park is, I don't know the exact dimension, but it is smaller than Miami. Because that Miami park, it is a big park.
Miami's deep, dude.
Yeah, deep. It is. I mean, we've seen it in that home run derby. Like, you really got, watching that home run derby, you really got an idea of how big and deep that park is.
Yeah. Two, I just want to say he's going to have a bounce back year. I would put him, I think he's going to be top three MVP voting again, right where he belongs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The dude, he's going to be back to form, honestly. I really see him bouncing back with the full, like you said, and I know we've touched on it before too. A lot of these players, I mean, just baseball in general, most players are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And in a shortened season like last year with the pandemic and everything going on, you're not able to get there in spring training and kind of getting your full workload and your full routine and everything. It really does hamper a lot of these players. And yeah, with this year looking like it's going to be full on everything, same. I expect a huge bounce back season from him.
Yeah, I agree. That leads to the second place team in the division. Obviously, I think we have 1 and 2 the exact same. I got the Cincinnati Reds coming in second in this division, and you kind of touched on it earlier. Their pitching. Their pitching is a difference. Sonny Gray bounced back huge. I know he trashed the Yankees system by not letting him throw the way he's thrown his whole life and be comfortable. He's back in Cincy and better than ever. I mean, he's back when he was pitching with the A's and you were like, all right, this kid's going to be what the Yankees thought they were going to get, when they made that move. And
and just to touch on that, because I think that's something that honestly is so stupid. I understand sometimes organizations want to do things their way, but I'm sorry, if a pitcher makes his way to the majors doing what he's doing, he's obviously doing something right. Why would you want to try and put him into this mold that he's not?
I agree.
And like you said with Gray, like it doesn't make sense that they would try. It just really doesn't. It makes me mad when you see that. Like Bauer's another guy. I know, obviously, we talked about he's inconsistent, all that, but when he came up with the Diamondbacks, he talked about like they tried to make him pitch how they wanted, but when he came to Cleveland, I mean, that was when he was at his best. Honestly,
we can't talk about that, dude. Mickey Callaway's in the news for the wrong things right now.
Okay, well, we're not talking about
Mickey Callaway. That was the guy who gave him the freedom to be himself. He said
I
it
get it.
multiple times.
Yeah, I know. That aside, I don't really want to get into all that.
I
Like,
don't either.
it's awful stuff, and it really does suck because I was a huge Callaway
Me
fan
too. I
until
got his autograph.
and then you start kind of like it just tarnishes. It kind of puts a bad shadow of over things he did. But regardless of all that, like just to say my piece on it, I really don't understand organizations that these pitchers got to the majors and they were successful for a reason because they were doing something that they excelled at. I never understood trying to put them into this mold that they just weren't. And
Yeah.
Sonny Gray, perfect example, like you said, coming back to the Reds, he had a bounce back season. And yeah, I think I know Luis Castillo is going to be their ace, but as
Yeah.
a second behind Castillo, like their rotation is going to be the difference maker in this division, bringing them I think second place in this division.
Yeah, I agree. Him and Castillo, if Gray pitches like he did last year, that's as good of a 1-2 punch as you got in the league.
Yeah,
I think Luis is. I mean, he's poised to win a Cy Young in his career. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but that dude's stuff is filth.
Yeah, it is. The dude's nasty.
So he's going to be an interesting one to watch for the next few years. Obviously they got the fucking ageless wonder in Joey Votto. The dude just comes out and does it every year. He has a down year 2 years ago. People are like, "Oh, Votto's done with." Now,
writing him off.
Bounced back last year. I mean, just showed that he's fucking Joey Votto.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I mean, their offense is solid too. When I was going through looking at the roster again, it's like they just got some solid pieces. Moustakas coming over is going to be solid. That's good. We had to deal with it when he would destroy the Indians when he was a Royal.
Yep.
And I mean, he's a beast. I mean, Castellanos, I've always been a fan of him. The guy's always had a good bat.
Yep.
Not a great defender by any means, but it doesn't matter. His bat's nasty. I know that Jesse Winker and Nick Senzel are young. I know Senzel's last year and the year before, he was like their big prospect coming up. I think he got hurt 2 years ago. I know last year wasn't the greatest, but like we talked about with baseball players being creatures of habit, I think getting in a full thing this year will be good for all of them. And it's just their offense is solid. Eugenio Suarez, he's been a monster.
Like solid.
Yeah.
Solid guy to have in the middle of your lineup. Yeah, their offense is solid. There's not a lot of holes, especially if the young kids start to hit. The offense could honestly be pretty scary. They're another one. I mean, the Great American Ballpark. It's kind of not the. Would you call that a hitter's park?
I feel like it's kind of like how Jacobs Field is, where depending on what time it is during the season, it's going to be a pitcher's park or a hitter's park. Yeah. It's not necessarily one or the other.
I was going to say and I've been there. I think you've been there as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, it's only like 4 hours down the road from us, but
it's a beautiful ballpark right there on the river too, like that.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
But when you're there, it feels huge.
Yeah.
Like it feels bigger than the Jake. It really does. But like you said, like I don't think of that as like a hitter's park. But I agree. I think it just depends on the weather. I mean, obviously it's a colder state up here, so yeah. I think they're poised for second. I wouldn't be shocked if their two stud aces are on, Gray and Cassiello. Like they could legitimately fight the Cardinals, who obviously we have winning this division.
Yeah.
They could fight for the division. I think I don't see any reason why they couldn't. I joked with you that Wade Miley could be the difference. As much of a joke as that was, he's not a bad number 4, dude. Like,
no, he's not. And veteran. He's a guy that I talk trash about a lot, but like he really is a solid end of the rotation dude. Where like as a number 4 or 5, like he could be a difference maker there. When you're throwing out a guy that's that solid every 4th or 5th day, the chance to get that W like that is huge. Yeah. So a
lot of experience. That guy's been around the block, dude. He's played for some terrible teams. He's played on some solid teams. Obviously we can get into who we think's fucking winning this division. I'm pumped. They're probably my 3rd favorite baseball team as far as following. I've said that before. Growing up, Albert Pujols was like the fucking It was like Ken Griffey Jr. was like, when I was a young kid, I was like, this is what I am going to love baseball for the rest of my life. Watching this guy, watching the mid 90s Indians teams just dominate. I mean, it was hard not to become an Indians fan at our age group and just fall in love with baseball. And then when we really got to the age where it was like, all right, I'm really getting into like the numbers of baseball, paying attention to this, and like having a guy like Albert Pujols, who's probably older than we think he is. I don't know if you saw that report.
No, I didn't.
All right, we'll get into that in a second.
Fausto Carmona?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, wow, really?
I mean, he was putting up numbers. It was like, all right, this is the next like Ken Griffey Jr. Like this guy, he can. Well, honestly, he was like a phenom. I mean, he was called the machine for a reason.
He was.
He was one of those dudes in, I guess you could say, steroid era. I mean, he was on like the back half of that.
It was like the back half of that, yeah.
But he was the only one hitting for 300. The guy did it all.
Sure.
He didn't strike out. He hit bombs and he raked at the fucking plate. And he had a glove. I mean, a lot of people don't remember that. Like he was a defensive first baseman. And so yeah, I do have a little bit of a love for the Cardinals.
I agree. I think that honestly, it kind of describes it perfect because it was like when we got out of the 90s Indians, kind of early 2000s was when the Indians started calming down with how good they were. And it really Pujols was so damn good. It was with the next player where it was like I kind of attached myself to. It was like, this dude's a monster. Like, and you just enjoyed just watching him destroy pitchers. Yeah. He was a monster.
Yeah.
It was hard to not be a fan of his. And
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how you couldn't have been.
No, he's
there was a report that came out that it was someone in the Cardinals organization who I believe it was who used to work for the Cardinals who kind of leaked this, that he lied about his age when he came up here, and he might be like 2 or 3 years older than we actually think. So he could be like 42 right now, 43.
Damn.
Some people were saying, oh, he's 45 already. I'm like, I don't think he's 45. He still hit like 13 homers last year or some shit like that in a shortened season.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, he has fallen off a cliff pretty much. I know he's had a lot of issues with his knees and stuff and his feet and all that.
Does he get to 700 this year?
What is he short?
36.
To get to 700. Ooh, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. I'm going to say he does.
I do too. I'm not putting it by him, dude. If I mean, think about it. Last game of the year, if Albert Pujols is coming up and you're a pitcher, are you meatballing him one? Unless it's a fucking tie game or something. I mean, a lot of these kids pitching grew up watching this guy. Are you meatballing him one to give him a 700, dude?
That's what I'm sitting here thinking. I'm like, if I was in that position, the competitive part of me would be like, no, you don't meatball it. You can't. But you would almost be, in a sense, starstruck where you're like, this is Albert Pujols. Like, I almost wouldn't be pissed if he hit that 700th home run off of me. Like,
exactly.
You share in history. You're on the wrong end of it, but I mean, you're sharing in history. Like,
that guy will remember you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That'd
be tough.
It's crazy. Obviously he plays for the Angels, so we'll talk about him later on. So yeah, getting back into the Cardinals, I have a fucking love affair with Jack Flaherty. I think you know this. Last year, I really started watching some tape on this guy, and I was like, God, this guy's delivery. He's got the old school look. I mean, there's not a lot to not like about this guy.
His name is sweet too.
Yeah.
Like, on top of all that goodness, he's got a sweet name. Yeah. So it's like, this guy's a full package.
Put me in, coach. Obviously they have Adam Wainwright still. I don't understand how this guy hasn't retired.
Honestly, I feel like he's older than Pujols, dude.
Yeah. Honestly, I think about like Scott Kazmir was pitching when this guy was pitching.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
When's the last time Kazmir was pitching?
I don't know. Last time I saw him, he got thrown out of a game.
That's right. It was a good game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he had a solid season with the Tribe that year before that, though.
He did. So yeah, I mean, honestly, Wainwright wasn't even terrible last year, as much as I joke about it.
He
Um,
pitched the most innings out of all their starters.
yeah, that's just
So
like the
I mean,
Kershaw stat. Kershaw pitched more innings than any other Dodgers pitcher. You're like, what?
yeah.
You know?
And isn't Wainwright? I mean, didn't he just I can't remember, was it in the last 3 years or 4 years that he had, I don't remember if it was Tommy John or did he blow out his ACL?
I
That's what it was.
I think it was his ACL. I don't think it
I
was
think
Tommy John.
so coming off of, yeah, I mean, even an ACL injury as a pitcher, because 'cause you're
Oh yeah,
driving off your legs. Your legs are your one of your most important tools, obviously, outside of your hands as a
yeah.
pitcher. For him to come off of that and kind of still put that out there like that, I
And
mean, yeah,
not to
he's
mention he was on the back half of his career then. I mean, I
mhm.
don't even know where he's at right now. I mean,
Yeah,
he's an old man. Um, Obviously they got that Mike Michaelis dude. He showed a lot of promise at first. He's kind of fallen back to the pack as like an average pitcher.
I feel like that's kinda what he is. He's more like one of those, he's not gonna blow it by you. He's more of like a control and
Yeah,
movement type pitcher. Almost kind of like, the Cubs pitcher, what's his name? We didn't
Hendricks.
really touch on him, but Kyle Hendricks, yeah.
Yeah,
I've always been a fan of Hendricks. He's not gonna blow you away. He's not gonna have a crazy low ERA, but he's just a solid pitcher, will go out there, got good control, good movement, and that's why I feel like that Mikolos
yeah.
is too.
You know why we didn't talk about the Cubs pitching? Because Hendricks is their ace this year.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Nothing sexy to talk about.
No, they signed Arrieta, and I'm not even excited about it. Arrieta's
Ugh.
so far past his prime. Like, yeah.
Um, I mean, it looks like the Cardinals might give Carlos Martinez another shot at starting as well.
That's what I was reading, that they're kind of their fifth spot is open, and they let Martinez pitch in the I think it's the Dominican League,
Mhm.
because he was coming off of injury last year, and he had can't remember what the injury was. It was another injury and then a oblique strain or something. So he was coming off 2 injuries where they were like, "Look, we do want you to kind of get the innings in, so go ahead, pitch in the Dominican League, kind of build up the stamina and everything."
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see, because I mean, that guy has some nasty stuff, and when
yeah.
he has it on, he's on. I
When
know
he
that
first came up, he looked like he was going to be their bona fide ace,
he really did.
and then he
I
got
thought
hurt.
it would be the case.
Yeah, and honestly, when he came back, I remember they put him in the pen, and it was like, all right, you're going to throw 1 or 2 innings for it, and he was good at it.
Yeah,
And then he just got
was.
hurt again. They got that kid, that Alex Reyes kid too, who's supposed to be a stud, and every time the guy fucking pitches, he gets hurt. Literally every time.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Cardinals, we've talked about it fucking plenty of times. They're one of those teams that somehow, like the Rays and the Indians, they just continuously pump out pitching. Doesn't matter where it comes from.
Their player development is top notch. It's one of the reasons, like, they're one of my favorite teams too, is just because they just their front office is great, their player development's great, the minor league system, the farm system's always great. They just always do seem to be churning out just homegrown talent. Where again, yeah, like you're kind of looking at the rotation, honestly, outside of Flaherty, there's not really another guy that kind of is scary.
No.
But for some reason, towards the end of the season, they're gonna have a rotation that's solid.
Yeah.
That's gonna get them where they need to get. And that's not and we haven't even touched on their offense yet.
I can't wait. Can't wait. So let's get into it. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip right to it. They traded for Nolan Arenado. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no need to build up to it. The dude is, in my opinion, has been a top 5 player for the last 4 or 5 years. He gets no respect in that. He gets the whole, oh, you played at Coors Field. I cannot fucking wait for him to hit another 40 bombs this year so that conversation is over with.
Yeah, I think he will too. I think that's a little overblown on his part. I get it to a point, but it's like, this dude's done it so many years in a row. How can you keep labeling that like on there? It just don't make sense.
Yeah. His splits tell the story, dude. I mean, look at the splits. There is not a dramatic difference between the way he hits at Coors and the way he hits everywhere else. And I specifically remember I'm going to call him out. I don't even give a fuck. Adam the Bull on 92.3 The Fan got into it because a guy called in about Nolan, because he left Nolan Arenado out of his top 3 third baseman, which I think is just complete asinine. Complete asinine.
I'd agree.
If you want to have him 2, whatever, I can deal with like an Anthony Rendon argument. I think it's asinine to leave him out of top 3.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember Bull looked at his splits and kind of like backed off of the argument as he was going because he tried to get analytical, thought it was going to back him up, and it really didn't, and he kind of fell off. But I have my own issues with that in the bull and baseball. But anyways, Paul DeJong, he's been there fucking, it seems like forever, but he's honestly not that old.
No, he's still a somewhat young player too. That guy kind of came out of nowhere a couple, 3-4 seasons ago. It was like this dude just came up and started raking for him.
Solidified the shortstop position for him because they needed it. Obviously they lost Colton Wong this year. He went over to the Brewers.
He's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up that hitting that he was on, because the guy was never really a hitter. He was more of a defensive player. That was it. His bat really started coming around, so it'll be interesting. I know we already passed up the Brewers and all that, but it'll just be something to keep an eye on.
I agree. Obviously, Yadier Molina decided to come back. I mean, we made jokes about it. As soon as that Nolan Arenado trade, he was like, "Yep, I'll give you one more year."
Yeah.
I mean,
one of the greatest catchers of all time.
No
I don't
doubt.
care what anybody says.
In my lifetime, he's the best catcher I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah,
and
I'd have to agree. It's hard.
I grew up watching Sandy Alomar, so I know probably our dads would argue that. I don't think I've ever watched a catcher who can call a game, fucking play, to just protect second base. I mean, what is his? I don't know if you can look it up real quick. Like, what is his career outage at throwing a guy out at second base? I would bet it's over 40%.
Let's see real quick.
And the guy's been in the league for fucking ever. What is this? Is going to be his 17th or 18th season? And I mean, regardless, he's one of the greatest defensive catchers of all time. And he can hit. I mean, his hitting. What is it?
No, I was just saying he really is. He's literally one of the greatest defensive catchers of all time.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
Won Gold Gloves in a row. I really don't think you can really put an argument against being one of the best defensive catchers of all time.
I agree. I mean, Sandy Alomar might have had a better bat, but Yadi's bat has honestly improved as he's gotten older.
9-time Gold Glove, 9-time All-Star, 4-time Platinum Glove, a 2-time World Series winner, and a Silver Slugger. That's all.
Did you say 4-time Platinum Glove?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
But if you don't know what that is, that's the best defensive player in the conference, isn't it? Isn't it conference?
No, I thought Platinum Glove was league, both American and national.
Okay, so it's both.
Yeah, you're literally the best defensive player at that position, bar none.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this stat, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just find it after and post it in the Discord.
I would almost put money on it that it's over 40%, which would be incredible. The guy's played 17. I think this will be his 18th year. I can't remember exactly, but
that I can tell you. Yeah, it is his. It'll be his 18th.
It'll be his 18th year. Yeah.
And think about that too in terms of catchers take a beating.
Yeah.
One, you're kneeling every single game on your knees. So usually one of the first things to go on catchers is their knees.
Mm-hmm.
This dude's been solely just a catcher for 17 years, about to go on 18.
And the starter.
Even with the short season last year. And it's just...
It's not like he's faded either, where he's like the backup catcher. He's the guy. You know?
The dude. Every year, he's the guy.
Excuse me. And then we get to talk about Paul Goldschmidt, who's one of our favorite players.
That when the Cardinals got him, that was exciting. And then when they got Arenado, it took that excitement up to a whole other level.
Goldschmidt bounced back last year. I think we've talked about how COVID can kind of throw things off. I think, this is his first time playing in St. Louis 2 years ago. I think last year he kind of got more comfortable being out of Arizona, being out of the humidifier. Which
humidor.
The humidor, they're putting one in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark.
I heard that.
That's weird to have it in an outside park.
It is weird. And it's going to be interesting to see if Votto gets back up to smacking 20 plus home runs a year with that.
Yeah.
It'd be real interesting to see. I think he could.
I think he could too. I don't doubt it at all. But yeah, I think that's usually when you say murderer's row, it's like 3 guys. I think Goldschmidt, Arenado might be the best, either 2-3 or 3-4 in the entire league. And it'll
I
be
got a
interesting to see where they plate these guys because the Cardinals, out of any other team, had more lineup changes than any team in the league last year.
Now that's I got a question for you, and it will be interesting to see how they might do this because of that exact reason too. Because I could see most games they'd probably bat Goldschmidt Arenado right next to each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you got two guys with firepower like that, I would like to see maybe kind of splitting them up a little bit to kind of give more chances to drive and runs. But do you think you could see over 200 ribbies between these two dudes?
That's tough.
It
200
is tough.
ribbies in the same lineup is tough.
It is, but because it's these two caliber type of players, that's where I think
I will
the
not be
lineup
surprised.
will affect that.
I will not be surprised if they do it. I would if I had to bet on it right now, like $10, I'd bet no.
Okay.
But I mean, I could see like 180, 190. I mean, I could see like Goldie getting 101 and Arenado getting like 97 and then falling just short.
Which is
tough.
still amazing.
Yeah, they're going to be incredible.
To even come close to something like 200 ribbies between two guys, even if they fall short and they're at like what, honestly, if they're like 160, 170,
Yeah.
something like that's still amazing.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw out there because these guys, the caliber players they could do that. And again, depending on their lineup changes, because I think if they're batting next to each other, that does lessen the chance of them smacking a combined 200 ribbies because one of them's going to clean it up and the other guy's going to come in and kind of not really have much to clean up.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it's going to be interesting. I just thought I'd ask though, just to.
Yeah, I could totally see it. But I mean, if they find a comfortable balance with each other, they could be helping. I mean, I could see. I would personally probably bat Goldie second, and I would bat Arenado third. I would want to get Arenado. You would think more at bats if he's batting third. Second, I know the Reds kind of started that when they put Votto up in the 2-hole because he's going to get more at bats.
Yeah.
They weren't necessarily worried about the RBIs, but more getting it back to their 3, 4, 5 hitters.
Yeah.
I think that's a strategy they need to go with Goldie. And then I would have Arenado. I would have probably DeYoung after Arenado. Or honestly, I'm gonna change that. I would have DeYoung lead off. I would go DeYoung, Goldie, Arenado. Maybe Yachty just because he's a veteran at 5. And then I mean they got a lot of fucking young. They got O'Neal. They got that Bader.
Yeah.
Edman. I think he's more of a speed guy though.
That'd be interesting maybe as a leadoff guy. You've seen some of those teams put their speedy guys up at the top too, just to have the speed on the bags right away.
Yeah. You do see that. I think I could be totally off with this. I think DeYoung's like a 260 hitter, somewhere around there. And he's got some pop to him. I was like when like we saw with Lindor, when Lindor moved into the leadoff role, he was getting more consistent homers because he's seeing better pitches.
Yeah.
Early on in the game, getting him more involved in the game early.
Dude, let's be real. The best leadoff hitter we've seen like that was Grady with that kind of pop, dude.
Yeah, Sizemore.
I just gotta reach back. I just had to. When you were talking about leadoff and pop like that, honestly, one of the guys I always go back to is Grady because that dude leadoff hitter was smacking homers like more than you would think.
Yeah.
That's just going back down memory lane as a Cleveland fan.
You know, every time I think of Grady Sizemore, I cannot ever get over the fact that we traded Bartolo Colon for Grady Sizemore and Cliff Lee, and Bartolo Colon played longer than both of them.
Yeah, honestly, that's insane.
Like, it unbelievable to me. I mean, and Grady and Cliff were fucking great here. It was a great trade. Honestly, it was a great trade for the Indians.
Yeah.
But it still blows my mind to think the fact that Big Sexy played longer than both those guys.
He played long enough to smack a home run, dude.
Yes, he did.
He played long enough to do that.
That's unreal, dude. But yeah, do you think you got the Cardinals winning 100 games?
I have them at 90 and 72, but honestly, I could see him winning 100.
Yeah, I don't
think
have him winning 100.
I think 90 is the floor for him.
Yeah. I think this will be a competitive division when it comes to. I could see the Brewers seriously making a push to win this division. and I could definitely see the Reds doing it because of that 1-2 punch, the starting rotation.
Yeah.
I think all those three teams' offenses are pretty similar. I think the Cardinals have the heavy hitters to lean on.
Yeah, I'd agree.
This should be a fun division, dude. Like I said, nobody ever seems like they want to win this division, so it's gonna end up. And who knows if the Cubs don't? I mean, if the Cubs don't trade Bryant, they're in the hunt. I mean, I don't like their pitching, but their offense is just as good as any of these three teams. So I mean, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows what could happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our breakdown of the NL Central. I think every NL division we had the same top team. This is really the first time we've had some guys mixed up, honestly.
Yeah, and we're not trying to agree this whole time either.
We haven't talked about it beforehand.
Yeah.
So yeah, but definitely remember MLB The Show giveaway. Like all the social medias. I mean, it's a free copy of the game, man.
Take that $60. Use it on something else. You take your lady out or something. Have a nice night. Go buy some booze.
Take your lady,
save yourself $60.
Take your guy out. We don't care. Whatever you want to do is $60. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Trying to help you. Help us help you.
Exactly. So yeah, with that, I think we're gonna take the same exact approach with the AL that we did the NL. So next Wednesday we will be doing the AL West.
Yep.
To start off. So maybe we'll get into the Albert Pujols story. I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully more information comes out about it because that kind of broke today. I'm sure it'll be interesting. We saw that firsthand here in Cleveland with the Fausto Carmona stuff. What was his real name? Roberto Hernandez, right?
Yep.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I will never let you forget that we went to a high school football game when my dad had tickets to the Indians-Yankees playoff game where he pitched a 9-inning game.
Look, we all do stupid things.
The Nat game.
I'm not
Could have been there in the club seats.
We've all made bad decisions, dude.
Yeah, we've all made bad decisions, is right. One last note. Cleveland Browns, sign Hollywood Higgins, please. Dear fucking God, sign Hollywood Higgins.
Please. He needs to be here. That chemistry between him and Baker just
Jesus. I got a custom Hollywood jersey I bought during the playoffs, and damn it, I want to wear it next year. All right. So yeah, that'll do it for this episode, this spring training episode breakdown. I will post in the description all the rules for the giveaway. We're gonna be pushing this giveaway hard. It's our first ever giveaway on the podcast. I'm fucking pumped about it.
Yep.
So yeah, like, share the video, get your free entries.
We're trying to literally just give this to you.
We're trying. I can't drive it to your house and hand it to you like I'm trying to. Okay? All right? And it will be a digital code. You don't have to wait for the mail or anything. We'll DM you a digital code. You can put it in that night and have it.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess we will see you next Wednesday. Also Friday, we have the WandaVision series finale. That's going to be a freaking huge video.
Yep, stay tuned for that for sure.
For sure. Adam brought his tools. We said, we had some serious technical difficulties last night. We tried to record one for you guys, and holy shit.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Didn't quite work out like we wanted it to.
No, it was bad. So hopefully we'll get all those kinks worked out. Adam's got a mobile setup, so pray and hope for that, I guess. And I will see you Friday. Nicholas will see you hopefully next Monday. We have a current events podcast. A lot of stuff came out from IGN. We tried to talk about that yesterday. It didn't work out. I'm sure we'll touch on some of that. Hopefully more information will come out so we actually have some information. A lot of it was just announcements.
Yeah, rehash maybe some of the stuff and go over in more detail. Hopefully, there is more for us to kind of break into for you guys. So.
Yeah. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Peace.